Hello everybody, my name is Oliver. My mission is to bring you closer to organic Japanese green tea, and today what we're gonna dive into is brewing cold brew with a Sencha. So what is actually different when you go and take a Sencha? Sencha is the most known tea in Japan, and Sencha often can vary from a little bit more astringent tea to quite a sweet tea. So there are a lot of variations there. But when we go for a typical Sencha, either the Sencha is unshaded or the Sencha is shaded only for a short period of time. And what it does is actually that you bring your tea or your cold brew a little bit more in the more vegetal area and having less of this savory sweetness, sometimes a little bit this ocean breeze. Some people refer to a little bit seaweedy taste profile. So you're moving a little bit away from this and you really want to have a nice vegetal, beautiful, also sweet tea, but not having this typical umami flavor profile which you get from the Japanese green tea when the tea is shaded or when the tea is even made in deep steam way, so meaning that it is longer in the steam bath, bringing out more the savory and sweet flavor profiles. So this tea tends to have a little bit more of catechins, a little bit more of the bitter particles or the astringent particles. This is freshening up, but as you're cold brewing the tea, you still get a very, very sweet infusion and not some kind of astringent tones in a too strong way, which you might can experience with a hot brew. So what I did is that I took 5 grams of the Yakushima Sencha, so it's this tea here. And this tea is coming from the island, as you can see, from the island of Yakushima. And this tea has a beautiful note of a little bit more fresher, a little bit more vegetal, even though this tea has been quite shaded for quite some time. Here we talk about 7 days. What's typical about Yakushima is that even though the island is subtropical, it has actually mountains on it which kind of get cold winds on the tea fields, bringing kind of quite a cold, very cool down winter time, leaving the plants to really restore itself, to absorb the maximum of nutrients, and then giving a beautiful first harvest in the April or May time when the harvest is done. This tea here is harvested in the first week of April. And it is a Yabukita Sencha. Yabukita Sencha, typical tea. Around 60 to 70% of all teas in Japan is made with the Yabukita cultivar. If you go to the north, so rather close to Tokyo, to Shizuoka, there you have even up to 95%. When you go more to the south, there it varies between 40 to 60%. So here we have the Yabukita, and what I just did is I took 5 grams of this tea, I infused it for 3 hours, and now I'm gonna enjoy this. A very beautiful thing to do in summertime. Now the days get longer, now we have more water and more hotter weather, so let's have this cold brew. What I did is, normally what you can see with this, maybe you have one of this at home, so actually you have here a sifter, but what I did is actually I put the tea leaves directly into the water, and then I just put the sifter on it so it filters from the bottom. Therefore you leave more space for the tea leaves, as you can see there right here at the bottom with this beautiful cold brew, so they can expand in the maximum way. And then you can just put in half a liter of water. This is, I think, around 20 ounces, I would say, of water which we used, and then we're just gonna fill this up, and you can see this tea is just also very, very beautiful green, but it has a little bit of a milky tone, so not extracting too much of this typical green particles which you get with a hot infusion. Here we're a little bit more milky, and now let's see how the taste is like. I still get a little bit of this seaweedy, but there's a real refreshment to this. I get a lot of cucumber, a little bit of spinach, is a very beautiful kind of a slight slate summergrass flavor profile, and it's not moving too much into this a little bit more savory tones. So if you want to have a cold brew which is more refreshing, maybe try to go and ask your vendor if he has a Sencha who has a little bit more of a fresher tone, who has a little bit more of a refreshing aroma than a normal Sencha, which is not shaded too long or unshaded, completely not shaded, might be a really good solution for you. And if you have a tea bag at home, it's mostly the case that they are not shaded. So if you're not willing to spend money on a leaf tea and you don't want to dive yet into this world, maybe you can even try and make a cold brew with your tea leaves from the tea bag. But be aware, most of these tea leaf or tea bag tea leaves, they are or there are added flavors to them, and they're by themselves not too flavorful. But if you have a good quality tea bag tea, it can absolutely be the case that you have also a quite a delicious cold brew tea. So really easy to do. Just fill in 5 grams of leaves, then water, and you just let it sit at least for an hour. Here I let it sit for around 3 hours. A very beautiful tea, and you can see that you can enjoy quite a good but not astringent at all tea then with this method. You can also take up to 1 liter, so I would say this is 40 ounces. I hope I'm right with this measurement. And then you can enjoy this tea even a second time, taking all the water and just pouring a new cup in. You can also leave it overnight. This is also possible. Tea, or cold brew tea, is such a smooth and kind of fine brewing that you can absolutely go into cold brewing overnight, and then it is quite tender to the tea leaves, and you can enjoy it easily the next morning, which is just fantastic. After maybe you went for a run, you're coming back and you need something refreshing. So this was a short session of the cold brew with the Sencha Yakushima. So if you ever have a Sencha at home, I guess you do so, maybe try it out for yourself. Maybe compare a cold brew also with a Gyokuro or a Fukamushi, so deep steam tea if you have one at home, and see the differences and see what you like better. But this one here, definitely a good choice. And this was this cold brew session with a Sencha. So thanks a lot for watching. See you next time. And if you ever have a question, please feel free to just leave a comment and maybe hit the like button and follow us or subscribe to this channel. Thanks a lot. See you and bye bye.